You're scrolling through your phone, sipping coffee, while across the globe, warships move into position. Missiles are being armed, satellites are watching, and the world inches closer to eruption. But which countries would vanish first if the unthinkable happens? Which cities would become fireballs before the world even knew what hit them? Some of these nations are right on the front lines. Others are hosting foreign troops, with bullseyes painted on every base. And if you live in one of these places, you're living in a countdown. This isn't fiction. This is strategy, geography, and terrifying reality. Let's uncover the first 10 targets. Number 10. Poland. It would only take minutes, not hours, for this country to be engulfed in flames if global war breaks out. Poland, from the outside, looks like a peaceful Central European nation. But behind the scenes, it's sitting on a geopolitical fault line. American and NATO troops are already stationed here, with air bases armed and ready. But guess what? That makes it one of the first places any adversary would want to strike. With over 36 million people and a gross domestic product of $89 billion, this nation has a lot to lose, and quickly. It borders Russia's Kaliningrad region, one of the most militarized zones in Europe. You might be thinking, doesn't an alliance mean protection? But in a first strike scenario, alliance also means target. If World War III starts in Europe, this is the country that would feel the fire first, and that should make you pause. Number 9. Ukraine. The war headlines are already familiar, but they only scratch the surface. Ukraine isn't just a battlefield. It's ground zero for what could explode into something much, much worse. More than 37 million people live here, many just miles away from hostile firepower. With a GDP of $178 billion, it's not an economic giant, but its geography? Priceless and deadly. Strategically positioned between powerful alliances and adversaries, this nation is already laced with tension. In a total war, it would be obliterated early to deny access to either side. Remember, the first to fall aren't always the weakest, they're often the most important. And before we move forward, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're diving deep into the world's riskiest flashpoints, and your support helps us keep bringing you truth that's often left in the shadows. Number 8. Lithuania. You might think a small country means small problems in a world war, but that's exactly what makes Lithuania more vulnerable. This tiny nation may not dominate headlines, but to military experts, it's one of the most dangerous powder kegs on the planet. Why? It controls a strategic sliver of land that could fracture NATO's defense in an instant, the Suwałki Gap, just 60 miles wide. Imagine this. War breaks out in Europe. The first move isn't tanks rolling into Paris. It's a lightning strike right here to cut off the Baltic states from the rest of NATO. Without warning, 2.8 million people could be trapped behind enemy lines with no time to run. This isn't just theory, it's written in countless war games. And almost every time, this country is among the first to fall. Its GDP is just under $88 billion, an economic lightweight. But that's exactly the issue. There's not enough military infrastructure to survive a full-scale attack. No deep fallback zones. No buffer regions. If missiles fly, they'll land here within minutes. And here's the part most people overlook. Lithuania is part of the European Union and NATO. That means if it's attacked, almost the entire Western alliance is forced to respond. One strike here could drag the world into chaos overnight. So ask yourself, why isn't more attention being paid to this tiny flashpoint? Or maybe the better question is, who's hoping it stays ignored? Number 7. Taiwan. Every headline sounds the same: tensions rising, ships spotted, threats made. But behind the news ticker lies a terrifying reality. This country could be gone in the opening minutes of a world war. Taiwan isn't just some island off the coast of Asia, it's the centerpiece of the Pacific puzzle. And if global conflict erupts, Taiwan would almost certainly be one of the first to burn. Why? Because it stands directly between two titans. Its location is everything, its technology is everything. And its destruction could trigger a chain reaction that reaches every corner of the globe. With a population of 23 million, Taiwan is home to some of the most advanced microchip factories in the world. Lose it, and you don't just lose a country, you lose global supply chains. Your phone, your car, your defense systems, everything would grind to a halt. Its GDP hovers around $751 billion and it punches well above its weight economically. But all that prosperity comes with a catch: it's a magnet. A target. And here's the chilling part: Taiwan has spent decades preparing for war. But experts agree, in a surprise attack, it might not even have time to respond. One wrong move. One misread radar ping. And this modern democracy could vanish in the opening phase of World War III. Still watching? Then you understand how fragile the global balance truly is. And before we move forward, make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can keep delivering more deep dive content like this. These stories are buried beneath headlines, but they matter. Your support helps us reveal what others ignore. Number 6, South Korea. It's one of the most advanced, modern, and fast-paced nations in the world, yet it's living on borrowed time. Every single day, over 51 million people wake up in a country that could be reduced to rubble before the sun sets. Sounds extreme? Then you haven't looked at a map lately. Just 35 miles north of its capital, Seoul, lies a heavily armed border lined with thousands of artillery pieces aimed directly at civilian targets. In a sudden conflict, experts estimate over 10,000 shells could hit the capital in the first hour, and that's before missiles get involved. South Korea's economy is no small player either. With a GDP nearing $1.7 trillion, it ranks among the world's top 15. But that prosperity sits within easy reach of danger. Its ports, factories, and power stations are exposed, and attackers know exactly where to strike. And here's the kicker: South Korea is technically still at war. The Korean War never officially ended. There's just an armistice. A pause, not peace. So if World War III begins in East Asia, this country wouldn't just be involved, it would be devastated almost instantly. And with American troops stationed throughout the region, any attack here pulls the United States in immediately. So the next time you watch a K-pop video or admire Korean tech, remember, this high-tech hub is also sitting on one of the most unstable front lines in the modern world. Number 5. Japan. Known for bullet trains, cherry blossoms, and cutting-edge innovation, Japan is a sitting target in the next Great War. Geographically surrounded by volatile players, Japan is located right between some of the most militarized zones in the Pacific. And while it hasn't been in a full-scale war since the 1940s, it's now bracing for something unthinkable: a direct hit. With a population of over 125 million and a GDP exceeding $4.4 trillion, Japan is one of the most powerful economies on the planet. But guess what? Its prosperity makes it vulnerable. Japan is home to dozens of US military bases, including strategic airfields and naval ports. And while that provides protection, it also makes the country a giant flashing target. If war erupts in the Pacific, adversaries would likely attempt to neutralize these bases immediately, meaning cities like Okinawa, Yokosuka, and even Tokyo could be struck in the opening minutes. You might think its missile defenses and alliances will shield it, but in a full-scale global war, timing is everything. And Japan's defense systems might not react fast enough to stop an overwhelming, multi-pronged strike. This is a nation that rebuilt from nuclear devastation once, but the next time, there might not be a chance to rebuild at all. And before we go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. We're diving into some of the world's most dangerous flashpoints, with stories the mainstream often ignores. Your support helps us keep delivering these in-depth, eye-opening reports week after week. Number 4. Israel. Israel is one of the most heavily defended countries on Earth, but that's also why it could be one of the first to fall. This tiny sliver of land has faced wars, missiles, and threats for decades. But World War III? That's a whole different battlefield. And experts agree, if the next global conflict erupts in the Middle East, this nation could be overwhelmed in minutes. Why? Because Israel isn't just a country, it's a trigger zone. Surrounded on nearly all sides by hostile powers, it's in the crosshairs of rival alliances and militant factions. But guess what? That constant tension has forced Israel to build one of the most advanced defense systems in the world, including the famous Iron Dome. Impressive? Yes. But not impenetrable. Israel is home to more than 9 million people, all living within a territory smaller than the state of New Jersey. With a gross domestic product approaching $500 billion, it far exceeds expectations both economically and technologically. But in the event of a full-scale world war, neither size nor tech superiority can prevent destruction, they can only delay it. Missiles coming from multiple directions, relentless cyber attacks, and coordinated drone swarms could overwhelm even Israel's sophisticated defenses. And in a scenario where every second counts, even the smallest breach could lead to catastrophic consequences. You might assume that Israel's powerful alliances offer protection. But that's where the danger lies. Those very alliances could make Israel an early target. Striking it would send a bold signal to the world. It would draw global attention and spark immediate retaliation. That's exactly why, in a World War III scenario, Israel may not have time to prepare. It might not just be the victim, it could be the trigger, the spark, the first flame. Number 3. Germany. Germany stands as one of Europe's most stable nations on the surface, but underneath, it's dangerously exposed. Positioned strategically at the core of NATO, Germany isn't just a participant, it's a command hub. And in any global conflict, command hubs don't get spared, they get hit first. Home to over 84 million people and boasting a GDP of more than $4.5 trillion, Germany serves as the backbone of Europe's economy. But its economic might is tightly tied to vulnerable systems, imported energy, digital infrastructure, and global trade routes that could be severed in a single night. Think about this. Germany also houses several major American military bases, including the crucial Ramstein Air Base, a cornerstone for U.S. operations across Europe and beyond. In any major war, that base becomes an instant target. Eliminate it, and NATO suffers a crippling setback. Though Germany has been working to modernize its defense capabilities, it's still playing catch-up after years of underinvestment. Many of its military systems are outdated, and while its troops are skilled, its forces are simply not built for large-scale warfare at this moment. And before we continue, take a second to hit that subscribe button. We're revealing the hidden flashpoints of global conflict, the ones few dare to talk about. Your support helps us dig deeper, investigate harder, and bring you critical information others overlook. Number 2. United Kingdom. Once an empire that ruled a quarter of the globe, the United Kingdom could now find its very existence threatened in a matter of hours. You might think it's shielded by geography, separated from mainland Europe by the sea. But in modern warfare, water is no barrier. The UK is far from safe. Here's why. Britain isn't just a close ally of the United States, it's a launchpad. Its military bases, naval ports, and radar facilities are tightly woven into NATO's defense grid. That makes it a high-value target. And in the opening salvo of a global war, missiles aren't waiting for Parliament to debate. They'd zero in on command centers like RAF Fylingdales and Croughton, which feed real-time intelligence to the US. With over 67 million citizens and a GDP of nearly $3.3 trillion, the UK is a global powerhouse in finance, defense, and intelligence. But that status makes it impossible to overlook. London is home to some of the planet's most essential financial networks. If they go down, shockwaves would reverberate through the world economy. This isn't theory. British intelligence has already warned that massive cyber attacks would likely be the first move in a large-scale war. Now here's the unsettling truth. Despite its rich military legacy, the UK's armed forces have been drastically scaled down over the years. Its Royal Navy is a shadow of its former self. And its nuclear deterrent, the Trident system, is almost entirely based in Scotland. One well-placed strike could knock it out completely. Think about that. One point of failure, and the nation's nuclear shield disappears. In World War III, enemies won't drag out the battle. They'll hit fast, hit hard, and hit dirty. And the UK? It's on the front lines. Its alliance with America ensures protection, yes, but it also guarantees it will be an early target. This won't be a war of traditions or legacies. Castles, royal families, quaint villages, they won't matter. What matters is data, logistics, and power. And that makes Britain a colossal bullseye. If sirens ever wail again across the English skies, the countdown won't be in days, it'll be in seconds. Number 1. Italy. It's the land of pizza, fashion, and ancient empires, but none of that offers protection when global conflict ignites. Italy may not top your list of potential war zones, but that's exactly why it's so at risk. Because while the world watches Asia and Eastern Europe, Italy could quietly become the first to fall through the cracks. Here's what people often forget. Italy hosts some of the largest American military installations in Europe. Bases like Aviano Air Base and Naval Support Activity Naples aren't just convenient, they're essential for operations across the Mediterranean and the Middle East. That also makes them prime targets. If war erupts, those sites are going to be among the first hit. With more than 58 million residents and a GDP nearing $2 trillion, Italy plays a vital role in Europe. But its military readiness paints a different picture. Years of low defense budgets, outdated equipment, and internal political disputes have left serious vulnerabilities. Now picture this. War breaks out in Eastern Europe. Missiles fly. NATO begins to mobilize. Italy doesn't get to stay on the sidelines, it becomes a launching point. And that makes it a target for tactical strikes, cyber sabotage, and even naval blockades through the Mediterranean. And there's a greater threat: Italy's sprawling 7,000-kilometer coastline. It's beautiful, yes, but also nearly impossible to defend. That leaves the nation wide open to amphibious landings, naval assaults, and drone infiltration. Then there's the economy. Italy's already fragile debt burden and its heavy dependence on imports, especially energy and industrial parts, mean that any serious disruption could cause nationwide turmoil. Take out a major port like Genoa or Trieste, and Italy's economy could collapse in days. And don't forget, Italy is a founding NATO member. That provides protection, sure, but it also puts a massive target on its back if tensions escalate. Rome may still echo with the grandeur of past empires, but in a modern war, ruins aren't historic, they're fresh, they're real. Because when the missiles start flying, history won't save you. Only preparation will. And Italy might not be ready. What you've just heard isn't a theory. It's a reality few want to face. Some of the most advanced countries on Earth could be reduced to smoldering rubble within minutes of global war erupting. And the scariest part? There won't be a warning. Missiles don't knock. Cyber attacks don't blink. And when alliances turn into battle lines, the map of the world could be rewritten in a single night. So if you found this breakdown eye-opening, don't just keep scrolling, hit that subscribe button now. We're investigating more global flashpoints, more shocking truths, and more danger zones each and every week. Like this video, share it with someone you care about, and let us know in the comments, which country do you think would fall first? Because in a world this unstable, awareness is survival. Stay sharp, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next one.